The U.S. elections are a couple of days away, but Bitcoin will be the winner. Hello, I'm Cody the Coin Raptor, and in today's video, I want to talk about Bitcoin's impact on the election, crypto in general, and my expectations for the Bitcoin price post-election. And spoiler alert, it's going to be big. But before we get to that, be sure to subscribe, be sure to hit that like button, and be sure to follow me on X and also Threads. If you guys appreciate this content that I'm bringing you, leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys feel about this whole situation, crypto, and if you guys are bullish or if you're bearish in the near term. So Bitcoin over November has been a little disappointing. In fact, we had kind of a disappointing October as well. I think these are all just normal pre-election jitters. I think that as soon as the election is done with, that uncertainty has been taken out of the market, Bitcoin is going to truly excel. And we've seen the increasing adoption of Bitcoin, especially if we take a look at the Bitcoin spot ETFs and the incredibly large amount of inflows. I mean, we had another week here where Bitcoin inflows were over $2 billion over a week, and this has just been monumentous. In fact, we haven't even seen inflows this large going. We have to go all the way back to about March in order to see Bitcoin inflows that are anywhere close to this massive. Quite simply speaking, Bitcoin adoption is happening. The traditional financial markets are interested in Bitcoin, and they are buying these spot ETFs like crazy. But now let's go ahead and get to the big story, and that is the elections. The elections are happening Tuesday, November 5th, so a couple of days from when this is released. Now let's go ahead and get everything out of the way. You have Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump, okay? Now, we've seen there's been a lot of talk on both sides about this. It's not a political channel. I'm not here to discuss politics. But in the context of Bitcoin, this is incredibly important. And according to Cointelegraph, they have a nice little chart here of who endorses who. They both have strong crypto endorsements. And that's one of the reasons why I say that no matter who wins, Bitcoin ultimately will win. Because you have people on both sides who are saying this is going to be my candidate, and this candidate is going to be more crypto friendly than the current administration. All right, so you have people like Kathy Wood for the Trump side. You have also people like Elon, of course, Elon Musk on the Trump side, Mark Andreessen on the Trump side, and then on the Kamala side, you have people like Anthony Scaramucci, Chris Larson, Ripple co-founder, Mark Cuban, of course. These are all very crypto important people in the current space. And this matters a lot, okay? Because crypto has gone from something that was seen as just a hobby or something that'll never take hold. There's just fake internet money. And now you're starting to see there's actual interest behind it, and there's a large amount of influence that's being wielded. In fact, Politico did a story here about this wave of crypto-friendly lawmakers about to crash Congress, and specifically pointing out the fact that there's $160 million for a crypto-friendly super PAC that's trying to get the crypto-friendly candidates elected to Congress. And so this right here is going to be key for the crypto industry for the next 4 years. So they've said 13 new pro-crypto candidates could ascend to seats in the House, and this is massive. Again, this is something that people were calling fake internet money not too long ago, and now we're starting to see $160 million of crypto-friendly, of money spent on crypto-friendly candidates. And this here is going to be the reason why Bitcoin will continue to see more and more adoption, because this is just the beginning. Every election cycle from this point forward, we will see more and more crypto-friendly candidates get elected, and that becomes a serious issue for both parties, and Bitcoin will ultimately be the winner. Not to mention that, but there's a good chance that no matter who wins, Mr. Gary Gensler at the SEC chair, Gary Gensler, will be removed from office, okay? And this is also very important because Gary Gensler has done more than any other person in any elected office to stamp out any sort of crypto advocacy, to try and throw a monkey wrench into the machine and try and get crypto essentially banned. So Gary Gensler, the head of the SEC, has an immense amount of power, and his anti-crypto stance has prevented the rise, I think, of Bitcoin to even further heights. I seriously think that if Gary Gensler wasn't at the SEC, we could probably have seen Bitcoin by 100K. But either way, no matter who wins, it is very possible that he will be gone. And as soon as he is gone, I think we'll wind up seeing a more crypto-friendly SEC and hopefully a more crypto-friendly CFTC as well. Now, all that being said, let's talk about what the elections have done for the Bitcoin price in the past. So the election year of 2016, we saw a one-year return of about 1,500% for Bitcoin. Now, this is kind of crazy. I don't expect 1,500% returns ever again for Bitcoin because of the law of large numbers. But the simple fact here is that from November 2016 to November 2017, we saw a 1,500% rise in the Bitcoin price. In fact, if you zoom in a little bit and you take a look at this, you can kind of see that the market didn't really take off until after the election happened in 2016 when Donald Trump won his first term. Now, if we go to the election year of 2020, now you can actually see here that the return was a little bit less. It was about 240% in 1 year. But yet again, you see a situation where Bitcoin really wasn't doing much, and it had yet to push above its previous all-time highs. That was back when Bitcoin hit an all-time high of about 20K or so. And post-election, that rally was enormous, 240%, all the way up to 70,000 or close to 70,000. So what does that mean for this election? Well, this election right here, the election of 2024, I do believe we can actually see Bitcoin one-year returns in the hundreds of percent. And I do think that it's very likely we'll wind up seeing Bitcoin above 100K sooner than later. And that would be my best guess. But again, not financial advice. Take this with a grain of salt, as predicting the future is incredibly difficult. But just know that if Bitcoin cycles continue the way they have in the past, that means an enormous gain coming for Bitcoin, and that would be something that I think is likely to happen. So the election has been normally very bullish for Bitcoin, regardless of who wins. So it's important to keep things in a perspective, and the perspective here is that adoption is happening, adoption is accelerating, and Bitcoin is going to go ballistic sooner than later. Now, I also want to go ahead and talk about the Bitcoin options as well. So Bitcoin options for the week, very interesting stuff's going on here. We have a large amount of options expiry on the 8th of November, so that's Friday. About $3 billion of Bitcoin options set to expire on Friday. Now you can see here the max pain price is sitting at 67K. 67K means that it's roughly where it is right now, because we're actually sitting at about 67,700. And so I think this is actually kind of fascinating, because I do think that this week we're going to see some major volatility. There's going to be a large dip in the Bitcoin price before we actually wind up shooting higher. I think that's probably going to be the case as the election uncertainty finally goes away and we figure out who wins. So the max pain price is going to be 67K, and traders right now are betting on Bitcoin basically being flat by the end of the week. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's actually going to be higher by the end of the week, but we'll see what happens. And if Bitcoin is higher at the end of the week, if you take a look at the liquidation heat maps, you can see there's a large amount of short liquidity hanging out at about 73,600. If we actually get that post-election surge, these guys are going to be annihilated and short squeezed, and Bitcoin's going to make a new all-time high. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know if you guys think that that this election is going to have a major impact on crypto and Bitcoin like I think it will. And let me know what you guys are going to be doing ahead of the election. If anything, I have not sold any of my Bitcoin. I've been waiting for possibly around 100K to start offloading a little bit and taking some profits. but I remain patient for the long term. Leave a comment below, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.